So everyone, get ready for the change. It's inevitable. March 15th is the deadline where you're probably going to see tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of channels. Get ready for the change. It's inevitable. March 15th
I didn't even have a Rumble account until a couple of weeks ago.
Where you'll probably see tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of channels.
When, because we remember, or some of us, we're old enough to remember when YouTube started and how it was this fantastic platform and people could share anything. And suddenly, not suddenly, in the last 18 months, it's just hit ridiculous draconianism. And it's, and now pretty much thievery. So it's, reducing everyone. Bad enough when the YouTubers were multimillionaires and suddenly they weren't. But the monetization issue is what actually just went, like Monty and I have issues with YouTube for a couple of years and had started other stuff. With me, moving over to locals, and as I said, only recently started a Rumble account. That's actually moving on, and it's just what have you done for the creatives that are still the bringers of life to the planet. So, it's we can talk about all the math and everything that we like, and actually saw someone say the other day that in just an online social somewhere, we're talking about how everyone's trying to use AI for arts and music and creatives, right? Let AI do what it does, algorithm, mathematics, let it do its functionality and allow the creatives to actually be the creatives. Like, don't try and get something that ridiculous to do something creative. It's just getting messy. And so, it's the whole AI thing. Look, I'm kind of disgusted, but more than I'm irritated, because it's not like we needed to spend time doing this, did we? It's like Andrew doesn't have time for this, I don't have time for this. Mont doesn't have time for it. Mont's made big changes. Mont's made even bigger changes, probably bigger than Andrew and I have made with all how he's going on.
Well, yeah, I am the human of the group, so that would make sense.
But the quote for everyone, fabulous quote about the furniture.
Oh, yeah. When I did my last show on Revolution Radio, it was an end of an era, and I've got a horoscope app on my phone, and it usually has like a quotational thing or whatever it was. And on the day, the sentence was the end of an era is like the sound of cheap furniture collapsing. the collapse of cheap furniture. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. It wasn't a bang, it was more of a whimper.
No, it was actually that was an astrological thing for you, wasn't it? It was like the daily astrology for you, that you have an end of an era, which will come with the sounds of collapsing cheap furniture or something.
Yeah, the collapse of cheap furniture, yeah.
So people are asking if you'll need a Rumble account to join. No, you could just watch Rumble, but a Rumble account is just an email and a password, so it's not exactly difficult. It's pretty simple.
If you want to comment underneath, But,
so if you just want to comment, that's all they ask for. And people are asking, what about BitChute? Unfortunately, BitChute does censor quite a bit now, as well as their services is never going to improve anymore. As for Odyssey is great, but it's got some quirks for people who are not technologically. The user interface is just not there for non-millennials. And unfortunately, even Rumble has got issues, like the way it streams in the background is really confusing. But Rumble's working with its content creators. And it's the only one doing an open source work with your content creators. And the bandwidth that they do there is done by content creators, not by the corporation. Yeah, and Rumble has a chat area too. It's just that they're redesigning it. They're redesigning it, so every month it gets better and better. And if you sign up to Rumble or just watch their community boards, you'll see what they're doing to change the system.
Yeah, Rumble's doing what Zoom did when lockdown started 3 years ago. You would have thought it was Skype that was going to be everyone's vehicle of communication, and Zoom frantically evolved and brought itself to the table, knowing that change was dramatically needed and fast. Rumble's doing that now because of what's going on. So Rumble's rapidly evolving and bringing up its game because it knows there's going to be a dramatic need come March 15th.
Well, that's how it started. It was an option towards YouTube. since 2016, YouTube's YouTubing. And it got to the point now, mainstream people on YouTube are like, yeah, I think I'll have to leave because of how bad it is. We've known for like half a decade because it's like, well, pattern recognition, we know where it's going. Pink Floyd, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know it is actually the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon being released this year?
Ooh.
Yeah. So Pink Floyd released, they have a logo because they're a band. That's what they're doing. There's a special box set. It's $200 US. I'm like, so universe. Anyway, the logo is a pyramid, and it's got the number 50 in it. And in the 0, they have the 7 colors of the prism, which is like a rainbow. On Twitter, all these idiots think Pink Floyd has become woke. Now this is the whole thing of like, tell me you're not a Pink Floyd fan without saying you're not a Pink Floyd fan.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
that's what you should.
It's like, how what are you doing? I used to have an integrity, and you're going for this woke mob, and it's like, it's the album cover. So that's me. And it's actually people go onto the tweet, and we can't find any of those woke quotes anymore because everyone's like, I'm here to look at the comments. And you've got that gif of the black guy leaning back into his chair and slowly eating popcorn. But there was another one I saw is like, I've brought chairs for everyone to look at the comments, and it's an Asian guy in Thailand with 200 chairs on a cart. And they're not stacked well. That's like they've just put. So that I thought I'd just share that we're dealing with humans, and apparently because there's a rainbow in the logo because of the album cover from 1973, some people think that Pink Floyd is joining the woke wagon. The woke wagon.
Wow.
No, that's
what dumb fucks. Oh
my
no!
God.
I said the word I can't say.
You can't say dumb.
Right, I'm already monetized anyways.
So I think that will start the show off of like, someone, and also it's Pink Floyd. Have you heard of Roger Waters? Have you heard anything he's released since 1983? Wow, a band that's anti-establishment. And they've gone woke because they need the money apparently.
Well, I did say, actually, I saw Jake Gilmore put up August tribute. Oh, I've just forgotten the man who died. Oh, God.
David Crosby.
Yes, from Crosby, Nash, all of those.
Yeah.
And he put up a beautiful tribute and mentioned that it was on the anniversary of the Dark Side. That in the tribute to him, and I just because unfortunately you have to be either a Dave Gilmore or a Roger Waters fan. You can't really be both. I actually took my son, who's those who don't know, my son's severely disabled and he's quadriplegic with cerebral palsy, he's in power chair and all the rest. And he is an absolute guitar legend, knows and has friends with all the best guitarists in the world. Amazing kid. And I took him to see the touring, whatever show was on for Pink Floyd that was local to us that came around. And it was Roger Waters that actually brought it. And we, as always happens with Jack, we went backstage. It just always happens. And we went backstage and Jack completely put his foot in it. Roger said hello to Jack, and Jack said, "It's nice to meet you, sir, but I want to meet Dave Gilmore." Oh my God! And so we left pretty quickly.
Was that 2009?
Yes.
Yeah, that was when he did all of Dark Side. I was actually one of I think he did 2 shows. I was on the floor, and let's say my bank account was reamed from but it was brilliant. And I think by then Roger had patched things up with David. Like they're civil.
It was
to each
still
other.
very tense. It silenced the crowd backstage. It was a tense moment.
Yeah. But I think Roger, he does have some sense to humor. I remember listening to the commentary of The Wall, where he's just taking the piss out of the entire thing. But he does mention the only thing The Wall really is missing is any type of humor. It's got everything else, but there's not a joke in it. Well, remember that scene where it's like it's early in it, and I think Pink as an 8-year-old holding a rugby ball and he's running towards the goal by himself, and he's like, this is the Irish rugby team practicing. So like, if you want to hear Roger, it's with Gerald Scaife, the artist. It's worth if you've got an hour and a half spare. It's a knowledgeable and funny, because Roger is quite funny.
We were road tripping not long ago. It's summer here and it's school holidays here, and I'm pretty much over it. I've got about one more week of school holidays. I'm not going to make it, but it's been quite a complex school holidays. But we were road tripping, and had my two identical 10-year-olds in the car with me, and we had actually Pink Floyd. They were running their playlist. Pink Floyd came up, and they were asking me to, like, it was brilliant to see my two 10-year-olds asking me to say, what was that lyric and what was in it? Because, we don't need and I'm just, listen to that. We don't need education. It's like, another brick in the wall, man.
Yeah.
And so, and then I said, look, when we get to where we're going, we'll stream the actual video of it, which they didn't like at all. But it's like, you can imagine they're 10-year-olds, so used to much better graphics. But it was, but yeah, it was pretty. It was awesome that they were hearing those messages that were always spot on. It's a bit like show your kids. Like I show my kids, of course, I show my kids all Monty Python stuff, which is as old as me. But
real quick, I just want to interject here. So for all the new people that have joined in, for the first hour, we are going to be live on YouTube and Rumble. The second hour, we are going to go exclusively to Rumble, because YouTube has forced all creators to accept a new terms of service, which are absolutely ridiculous. 16,500 words you can't say in the first 90 seconds of the show or be demonetized. And they're backlisting everything. They're backdating everything. So thousands of channels are getting banned and booted. So we are beginning to make the transition strictly to Rumble. I know that's a lot of you that aren't good with other technology. We're going to make it as simple as possible for you. You don't need to have a Rumble account, but if you want to communicate in the Rumble chat room, you'll need an account, which is just an email and a password. It's very, very simple. Yes. And something else to announce, we are expanding the Friday comedy show, where we're going to make an entertainment channel. So we're going to be featuring musicians, comedy writers, songwriters, all sorts of things, as well as a game stream. So today, after our live comedy show here, we're going to go live on World of Warcraft. And you are welcome to sit and watch. Why am I doing this? It's because entertainment is such a valuable part of the spiritual journey. There are many, many people who are so far up the ass of spirit out their mouth, and they don't know how to let down anymore. 3 years ago, when Monty and I started this comedy show, was exactly for that reason. And now we've reached a point where we're going to expand it. So on the opposite Fridays, while we're not having comedy show, we're going to be bringing stuff to you. And we're going to build a channel slow. But the comedy show is the central here. We'll bring on comedian guests, musicians, all sorts of things, because we want to start a completely separate, unique entertainment channel for spiritually minded people who can look at some of the things that are out there, bring some joy and happiness to your life.
Yeah. And why not?
Yes.
It's like, I mean, if you look at all the ascended masters, if I can use that term loosely, like they have to be, they're mostly laughing. You meet someone that's highly spiritual, or like, say like Bashar or Cryon, or, all those channeled entities and stuff like that. And when they're in a good mood, their sense of humor is totally wicked.
Yes.
They're just like, I remember seeing footage of Bashar, and he has a Q&A at one point, and a woman says, I work for SETI. And he's like, and what is that? This search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And he goes, you found me.
Yes, you found me. You found me.
Yeah, well, yeah, the highly spiritual people have a wicked sense of humor, because, well, I'm not sure about creation being a joke, but living on this planet kind of is, if you look at it through a comedic lens.
No, creation is a joke if you just look at it from the comedy perspective.
Yeah.
We actually, like, whenever I've taught life programs, and we're talking like over the last 20 years where I've been teaching around the world and everything, Mont can absolutely attest this too. I use humor throughout the whole thing. You cannot laughter is one of the greatest vehicles to raise your vibration.
Right.
It's very, very powerful at raising vibration. So I actually very deliberately make sure I keep people laughing. And without fail, at every one of the classes that I teach, and this is still very much the case, you will have people that more often than not aren't brave enough to speak to me, but go to the staff and to the team there and complain about the fact that I don't take this seriously, that I'm not reverent. How can I be so spiritually gifted when I'm, when I'm so blasphemous, when I'm so, and I will bring up all sorts of stuff where I actually I assault religions because religion, of course, isn't spiritual. Religion's a construct of man. Spirituality is whatever you want to call it, God, universe, multiverse, wherever you're comfortable. But spirituality and religion are two very separate entities. Religion's always been a political construct. It's always been a vehicle of control. And so it's very much of the human existence. And so, I will, whenever we've done it, I make people laugh a lot. And there are always those, I used to call them the crystal grippers, but, and then they had terms like New Age, and now they bag everyone that calls themselves a light worker. And, the term keeps changing, same people. It's people that began looking, stopped somewhere along the way, forgot to keep going, and started judging everyone from that point. And that's pretty much the definition of it. And so, and I used to call them the crystal grippers. It was always those ones that would come up with their crystal, telling me how my aura was impure, that I needed to be cleansed, the blah, 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 all the rest, and that I couldn't be whoever I am, or why was I given this gift when I'm not like them? And so, and you still,
Melissa, I've had the exact same thing go on. Them wanting to, like, how can you do comedy? But I've ingrained into so much of my content that people get used to. I still get it. I don't know, a couple times a month, coming in. Why are you serious and laughing about it? Because I can. Literally, because I can, and I need to. And people that are our regular comedy show guys, you can attest to it. I mean, 3 years of doing comedy show, we've got a really loyal audience here. And I was talking with Joel, our producer here, like, when we do more, and like, well, let's just figure out a way to make it an entertainment channel for spiritually minded people.
Bring back variety.
Yes.
Well, let's make it like, can you make it a rule that we're not going to have, like, let's not bring on people that are bagging other people. I'm just so tired of listening to people, can you say bitch? I don't know, bitching about, I can't remember the list, sorry. Bitching about light workers, New Agers and all that sort of stuff. Look, they are where they are. And one of the great things about those people is they started looking. Look, they might need someone to go shove and keep them going forward, but they did start looking, and you've got to just love people where they are. Leave them there. You don't have to take them with you.
When we started the show, we intend to offend was the start of our thing, and we still intend to offend on these comedy shows. But as we grow, it's a window of entertainment that will be for spiritually minded people who want to grow a community in the background. That's ultimately what we're going to end up doing. I
just thought of a great segment we can do. And Monty goes into this story.
This is a chance.
Let's do a segment of how Melissa made an idiot of herself in the spiritual world.
Many
stories.
Yes.
Where I've, where I got kidnapped into an ashram. I've got so many stories about how I made an idiot of myself because I absolutely didn't want to offend people with that. And I got taken into. We've got all sorts of stories. Let's make it a segment.
We'll do a short segment now. I remember doing a course with you, and the toilets at the venue had floor-to-ceiling mirrors, and because you see in frequency and not in physicality, good on you. You walk straight into them because you didn't see it, and that's slightly amusing. The topper on that is you apologize for the person you bumped into.
Apologize to myself. Yeah. That's the other
funny.
thing.
That's really funny. That's something I do. All right.
I'm really lucky that for some reason, and I'm sure it's cosmic humor at its best, right? That I was born the way that I look. And I don't look in mirrors often because I actually have to drop my frequency level to see the reflection. So all of my makeup techniques and everything, and some of you know that I was in the military for a long time. I was an army officer and everything. And so I'm very, very good with camouflage cream. But I'm not particularly good with makeup. and stuff. But I've mastered very military of me. I'm super efficient at putting makeup on, and I figure out what it looks like. I just sort of, that's it. And most of it is stuff that stays on your face all day, because I don't go back to mirrors. I don't look again and check my makeup and stuff. And so, so I can walk around, I can have like a salad for lunch, and about 10 o'clock at night, go brush my teeth, and spinach is still there, and no one's told me. It's just like, but yeah, the mirror one, this bathroom, every wall was a mirror. I do have a photo I took in there, because when you stood at the basins, you were in so many dimensions when you looked in the mirror. It was so cool. Like, just the reflection upon reflection was very groovy. I did actually take a photo of it. But when you walked in the door, you were faced with a wall-to-floor bloody mirror. It was the wall. And so I walked in the door with people talking at me and just went smack, full into the wall, and then went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And to the person in the mirror, right, which was me, I'm so sorry, didn't even see you there. And then I said, you look familiar. That's where I lost it. Hang on, you look familiar. Did we know each other? Oh my God, a bloody mirror. But yeah, that's happened at pubs and nights out with friends as well, where I've run into a mirror. And back in the days of when I drank alcohol. But
I find it weird that we missed that opportunity, that window, because can you imagine us getting shit-faced?
You were talking, we were chatting the other day, we were talking about how, you're in the dark room at a gig, blah, blah, and this person come up, and I think, he's talking about the night we met. And then you were talking about someone else that you met, and I'm thinking pretty much all of your stories of how you met someone in your life is, well, we're at a gig, it was noisy, loud, the floor was sticky, and we ran into each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been in nightclubs for 2.5 decades, and people, when I'm at gigs, people come up and say, hi, Monty, how are you? It's like, hi, you don't remember me, do we? Did we meet in a darkened room with loud music, flashing lights, and I was drunk? I'm just saying. And faces I kind of remember, and I do remember names, but I realized I need, like, if I met you, Melissa, I need a story. You tell me the story, the brain goes, this, and there's the cast, the characters, the producer, the lighting guy. The whole story, just like, that time that blah, blah, blah found on the stairs. Dave, how are you? Everything comes. I need, like,
the funny thing is, like, one of the first conversations Monty and I had, Monty and I had met at an actual gig. We'd sort of spoken on social media. I think it was Facebook. That was it back in the day. And then we went to another gig and ran into each other. The first conversations we had was, isn't it weird that people will talk to you on social media, but if you run into them in a room, they bolt. Mm-hmm. Like they won't talk to you. They'll say all sorts of stuff behind the keyboard, like have a chat. Do you think you know them? And then you're like, oh, hey, it's you. Yeah, how you doing? And they just, oh my God, she's real, and they bolt.
Yeah. I've had people say, you're unapproachable. I'm standing here sipping a beer. How am I not unapproachable? And they're afraid of, they're afraid of, and this is when I was like working through my shit, the element of depression, and living a fear-based life, leaving a trail of destruction. And these people think I'm awesome. They're afraid of my awesomeness. Now, it's like irony is I had no idea about my awesomeness. But it's like, I find it difficult talking to you. Why? Oh, fuck a question. Anyway. Yeah. And,
I did say to someone once, this was way back in the day too, why are you having trouble talking to me? What's going on? We're talking about, remember, and they said something like, I feel like I'm meeting a superstar. And you're like, because you met someone on Facebook.
Well, people just create that.
How many bots are you talking to?
Well, I remember you saying to me recently that, there's people in the music industry here in Melbourne that are afraid of me or whatever. It's like, really? I haven't achieved shit. Threatened by me because don't you love it when you hate it because you exist? It's not like what you've done, like what I couldn't do. It's like, no, you're in my timeline and you're breathing. I'm gonna stab you in the head.
Probably because they can see the potential.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue.
On here, we all have that. We all have people that have no clue why they're hating us. They're just haters. And
it's their problem and their karma. So
So let's take this opportunity to get some feedback from the people that regularly come into the comedy show of what they'd like to see Joel and I have some ideas in the background, like a little like radio play. We also looked at doing some online tabletop role playing, like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder. So it's a way to do improvisational acting with characters that we could relate to around the teachings. What would you guys like to see as an ongoing entertainment us?
Yeah, and keep it clean.
Yeah, role play.
Oh, see, they're stunned because they're so awesome. There we go.
I was actually quietly chuckling to myself. I was wondering how long Monty could let that comment sit about the floating phone booth before he corrected the person.
That was my 17th response. Phone booth? Phone booth? Twister. No, we're not playing Twister. I said keep it clean.
I did, when you were talking about the whole gaming aspect and everything, D&D's, that's a great suggestion. I love that idea.
So they have virtual,
in all sorts of places.
Right. They have virtual tabletop things that go direct to streaming. So everyone can see everyone's character sheet. The dice are all rolled on it. Mm-hmm. And if you go to YouTube and you type in Critical Role as a YouTube channel, you'll see professional voice actors who in late 2010 started a channel at virtually nothing. And they now have 6 million subscribers. And they're a huge publishing company that's produced its own things. And that spawned an entire rebirth of Dungeons and Dragons, as well as many other tabletop role-playing games, such as Pathfinder, Starfinder, Cold Ball Games, Chaosium, a whole bunch of things. When I was younger, I used to play role-playing games all the time. I would love to be able to feature the teachings in it. And there are plenty of open source systems that we could do that, where you don't have to invest anything into books or anything. It's all online as a free open source resource, open resource. So tabletop gaming is one of those things. And, we'd be able to put, 2 hours there, and you get to see the progression of the story.
Yeah, and also,
I like the Wheel of Karma suggestion too. That would be fun.
Yes, Wheel of Karma. Yes,
Wheel of Karma.
Fish. Anyway, it's interesting as well that finally, over the many decades, like in the 70s and the 80s and maybe the 90s, apparently this never happened to me. Apparently, liking Star Wars made you like an undesirable of society, being a geek or a nerd. But in like the late 90s onwards, there's like geek culture, and just look at how many very attractive young women game on Twitch now. Obviously, they could be grifting because they know they're hot, but there are some that the gaming is not just like for the fat spotty 14-year-old guy in their mum's basement anymore. It's everyone. Like a friend of mine said, "Do you play video games?" And they're like, "I even one." And it's like, you're 41 and you have 3 kids. And it's like, yeah, now I understand why your videos like when I do play a video, it is Star Wars Unleashed. It came out over a decade ago, but the plot is that you play the apprentice of Darth Vader on missions, but Vader doesn't want any witnesses. So guess what I do for 15 minutes? You're killing everything. It's a great cathartic release because me being cranky, you get the frustration out, but you're a high level force user. So yeah, I connect to it with really well. Force push, force boot, kill. So good times.
And I've got 4 gorgeous daughters, aged from 21 down to 10, and they're all gamers. My almost 20-year-old daughter is about to go. She's about to go and catch up with a whole group of friends. They're all going gaming, and so like this afternoon right now. So she's about to head off, and so somewhere in between that, they're all going to jump in the pool, but they're getting back to it. They've all challenged each other. It's on, and so yeah. Gaming now, she's just bought a sensational laptop. Oh my God, the gaming laptop she just bought is awesome.
I like Amy's suggestion. Name that revocation.
Well, Amy also suggested, and Monty and I are both big fans of that, Amy, the old Whose Line Is It Anyway? I mean, the improv of just the 3 of us would be hysterical with that. Can we do a spiritual version of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Why are you doing this to me? Well, there's 7 answers to that. 3,000 years ago.
Oh, the places. What dimension do you want me to pull that from? How many past lives? I mean, we could just where we could bring it all in. And so,
I finally got the information out of Andrew because I play the long game. So how long have I been on this planet? 38, 40 million years. I'm like, okay, cool. And for me, it's like shelve that. Okay, fine. I know that most people go, exactly. Most people will spend the next 3 hours just going and like, yeah, fine. It's my time. But it's like also try and process 40 million years of history with, and also incarnation isn't linear. So there could be 11 versions of me out there right now. Like I apparently sensed World War One and got through that and interesting stuff. But I mentioned to Andrew, like, I think I skipped World War Two, and he said, "Oh no, you did.
Oh no,
you just
yeah.
You chose not to remember it. Yeah, you chose not to remember it. I'm like, fair enough. Once again, put that on the shelf in the it's for whatever reason, like when I was younger, like playing war or watching war movies, and I'm sure it's the whole warrior battling thing, but being basically a comedian and a coward in this lifetime, I'd rather watch war than actually be in one. So, or the culture war, where I can say, well, you're a knob.
So, a lot of people are saying yay to D&D. Well, we had that on the thing. It's just a matter of what we're gonna do when we're doing. We'll set it up. So a lot of people are really liking that. And as again, there's a variety of other games that we can do too. But I think it's a good idea. Everybody's like, a lot of people have done it earlier in their life. Some played it during the pandemic. We've got something fun to do and just build a community.
Yeah,
D&D's awesome. It gets such a bad rap for like Monty was saying, gets such a bad rap for nerdness. But D&D's, even as someone ex-military, D&D is a brilliant, strategic, critical. It's a very, very intelligent and fun thing to do. It's brilliant fun. As I said, I've got all these gorgeous daughters. All my gorgeous daughters are into it.
Yeah, it's just not Dungeons and Dragons. I know I played a vampire one once.
Yep, I played that too. Part of the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension. I mean, it was those were all critical journeys for me as a storyteller.
Yep, that's right.
And it helped me formulate some of the later skills of having to have rapid mental response that was high creativity that I was able to make part of my spirituality.
That's right. Allow you to get out of your head and allow the higher creative, the genius in you, which is the spirit of you, to flow. It's really good for that. And here we are, the spiritual teachers telling you D&D's worth doing, and that is actually really worth getting into. There's certain games that I don't touch because the graphics and stuff are too real now. And for someone that's ex-military, it's way too PTSD triggering for me to play a lot of games.
We're not going to see the red mist.
Yeah, we're not going to use that. So tabletop gaming is all tabletop. Basically, what virtual tabletop does, instead of drawing a map, they make a map for you. Instead of walking up onto a castle, so there's cutscenes. You walk up onto a generic castle. So it adds some virtual aspects to it, and then also organizes everything so everything's done in system, as well as all the core rule books and everything. So people are asking if they can play and they don't know how to do it. The answer is yes. You just have to learn your improvisational acting skill. Now, that's absolutely key. The way it works is you create a character that has a background. It has its special things you do. You're a fighter, you're a magic user, you're a thief, you're a this, you're a that. And once you understand your character and create the background, do you want an accent with it? Or do you just want to talk and allow yourself to be this character who's creating dialogue with 4 to 5 other people in a setting where you're going to move forward and gain experience and learn more things? And it's not just about beating up the monsters. It's the communication that everyone has in between. I've done many role-playing games where it's laughter nonstop, 10 hours in a row. Okay? And it's because everyone's in the perfect flow, and somebody says something, another person, and the next thing you know, the giggles go and go and go. And then it gets serious where you're really into the story and what's going to come next and what's going to come next. And that's the true, value of tabletop role-playing, the improvisational growth that you grow through.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're doing with friends, and you're just sitting around a table. And if you did it out in the real world, it's actually a mental illness, because you're creating a whole character. You put it on, and doing all this weird stuff. So
Right.
it's if you do have just because like I'm a dwarf. Yeah, actually, that explains half the woke crap nowadays. Like I identify as a fire hydrant. Okay. Well,
Can I
actually,
pee on you?
no. Well, no,
I
actually,
just-
like
just
that
gonna throw
shit.
some
I have to. I actually, my body is a temple, so therefore I am tax exempt. Think about it.
and for
Ha
those-
ha
for
ha
those-
ha ha ha.
for the-
That's good.
For the few out there that are thinking looking at screens is not good for our health, sitting down all day not looking at our health, let me tell you that this sort of gaming, this sort of stuff that we're talking about, is the stuff that'll stop you from getting things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, stuff like that. It's been proven more and more, particularly when you have to be strategic and creative and you're actually in humor at the same time, that it actually causes the hippocampus, the thing that shrinks when you have dementia, right? It causes it to grow back.
That's right.
Ooh.
Look
And
it
Raw
up.
creativity. Raw creativity. The creation of stem cells through that high frequency grows that back.
Yeah, and like reading a book, your imagination is activated.
Yeah.
So if like
That's why-
the three of us are playing, a tall man in a cloak walks in, and we've just created 3 different versions of that
That's right.
sentence because it's all like that's why people wear
Straight away,
they
mine's an invisibility one.
yeah, all right, thank you. Yeah, but it's like when people complain about they made this book into a movie and I didn't like it. Yeah, because you thought it completely different. But with
That's right.
say Peter
That's
Jackson doing Lord of the Rings, because there's so much, but sometimes they hit the mark. But it's because everyone has their unique imagination when you read a book, because you create and visualize it. And so that's the same thing when doing D&D, where it's like, the dwarf, and it's like, well, the shape different, everything else like that. So everything is created. And I'm sure the Akashic records will be full of that, which you can go and have a look at them because it's like,
Sure.
wow.
See, the
Right.
beauty, if I'm going to be the game master, which I would start with, because I love doing that part, but I will want to play also, is I have an entire world upon world upon world upon world upon world upon world upon world to draw shit from. Okay?
Yes, you do.
Not the Happy
Absolutely.
Master, the game, GAM.
Game master, yes.
Like that's it. Like Monty said, the movie will never be as good as the book if you read the book, because the book happened in your head. It's happened from all your past life experiences, all your epigenetic whole. It's like it's happening from so many great sources, and it's
Yeah.
And that's funny.
But it's-
That's funny too when you're watching a documentary and part of you goes, "That's not what happened." What do you mean?
what I love.
Why am I,
my
I'm
daughter,
I'm watching Gettysburg. What do you mean that's not what happened? And you start questioning like, well, you were there, and
no, one of my daughters is one of my 10-year-olds is reading I think she's on book 4 of the Percy Jackson series, and she's reading books. Her older siblings will not let her watch any movie. They just won't. They won't let her do it. And the thing that I love too, there's just a little sidebar here. She was talking about, I can't remember how she pronounced it now, but she was talking about, Poseidon. And I said, Poseidon. It's like, I freaking love when someone says a word to me that you know that they've read it. It makes me immediately love them. You read. Like I had a friend years ago who was talking about Yosemite, and I said, do you mean Yosemite?
Yosemite, yes. Yosemite.
Yosemite. And it was like, Yosemite's gone, that makes so much more sense, because we're
Yes.
talking about going for a climb. And we're talking about going for a climb, like rock climbing. And he said, I'd love to go to Yosemite. I'm like, what? It's like, do you mean Yosemite? And it's like, yes, that makes more sense. Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, my daughter came out with Poseidon, and I said, I think you're talking Poseidon.
Yeah.
And she's like, is that how you say it? Yeah, I do, but I freaking love that you pronounce that. Great job.
so it proves it. I mean, I did the same thing with I see Legend as leg end, and I'm a big Batman fan thing, and like they had the TV show Gotham, which is Gotham.
Yep.
Got him. Got him.
Watching a bit of Gotham.
Yes.
Whatever my kids, because my kids are, I push reading, and I push reading in any way you can do it. If you need to do it bionically, any way you have to, ADHD, all the good stuff. I find ways to make reading happen, because the moment someone can read, the entire bloody world as a human opens up to them. And so yeah, my kids are readers, but they I love it when they come out with stuff that is just, that they read it. It makes me love a person straight away when they come out with something. I know you read that somewhere. I love that you mispronounced it. Good.
Hence the term that's been around for centuries, well-read. That person is well-read.
So you're talking about mispronounced words. I'm Greek. I was from the youngest of age. I had all the Greek legends and myth stories and myths to me. So when I hear the Cyclops that was going to go over get the Theseus and eat him, they call him Polyphemus. I'm like, it's Polyphemus, dumbass.
Actually, it was at a improv night ago, and my friend takes me, and he actually films it, and he has a lot of he has too much money, he doesn't spend it on anything, so he buys me beer, and like, fair enough, and he's Greek, and I said, oh, here's your card back. How do you say thank you in Greek? Andrew, how do you say thank you in Greek?
I can't remember. Well, Afghanistan. Sorry.
Yeah. But basically, after a 10
I mean, you just caught me in a second where I have to think in Greek. I'm like,
yeah, he basically says it. It's all like, it's a whole sentence. I'm just going to say tar from now on. I'm just going to go English and go tar. I'm not saying blah, 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 blah.
Look, Patty's typed a word into the chat. How do you pronounce that?
Afghanistan.
Difficult.
Oh, that's how you pronounce that?
Yeah, that's how
Yeah, I would get that wrong. Thanks, Patty. I would get that wrong.
But she's Greek also. They're both her and her sister twins are Greek. So they know. My mom says back with us handle exactly.
Except I'm forever trying to get Greek families to adopt me. I keep saying to them, my name is Melissa, you know. I've also got I come from I'm an Aphrodite priestess, you know, please, please adopt me. I love Greek families. It's so much fun.
So I'm the youngest of three sons. My parents didn't want me to learn Greek. My other two brothers didn't really like going to Greek school on top of a 5-day week. And it was really hard for them to go. So they stopped going when they were young. And I didn't learn Greek at Greek school because they wanted to be arguing Greek, and that one must not know what they were saying. Okay? So that was the big thing. What are they saying? And after a while, you can pick little things out here or there. Okay? But other than, hello, good morning, this, I didn't, and other than the swear words, I mean, I learned, every kid learns the swear words. Yeah, balaka, exactly,
Oh, well, it's all right. We're just getting a message from Greek YouTube. We're being demonetized.
Yes, we're being demonetized, exactly.
Now, at the moment, I'm learning German. I can't believe how easy that is to learn. How easy is it? Well, it's so close. German, of course, and Monty and I, we love etymology, and we love the development of language, and of course, Greek, German, and English are very close. It's a very, very closely related language. So German, I mean, I'm doing it at the moment because our research is moving to Germany, and so I'd like to just speak to them. Don't want to have to worry about translation and stuff. And so I'm cranked out. I can't believe how easy that is to learn, as opposed to I was learning Russian, and geez, that's fun. I love Russian language, but it's complex. Wow, it's fun.
I speak Australian. I destroy English, and as you know, English has grown. It just absorbs. I mean, a third of the words are French. Which moron? The word station. It should be SHON, but because it's French, it's TION.
No, look, again, the 10-year-olds, but the 10-year-olds, when they've got spelling and they've got all that sort of stuff and all the rest, the word that I say, they'll be reading whatever novels they're reading and stuff, and they'll say, what is this word? And I'm forever just saying to Paul, I'm forever just saying to him how weird is the English language. It's such a bastardization upon itself. Like the spelling, its function, its structure, and I just said, they're just like, this word makes no sense. I know. How weird is the English language? Thank God it's your base language, because it's one of the hardest to learn.
Yeah, well, it's easy to learn to speak. It's extremely hard to write, because I before E, except for the 11 words that doesn't happen with. And so I put it in a sentence.
So many languages, the prefix on a noun is either masculine or feminine. Now I just find that entertaining. I find out, why did the German decide that the mouse was the feminine, the owl is a feminine, the dog is masculine? That makes sense. The cat's feminine. But then you're thinking, why is the elephant masculine? Just because of its size? I start getting what prejudice made that happen?
No, it's cultural, because the Germans first to go deep into the Congo and be big game hunters. Ooh. In the modern history. Yes.
Mhm.
So like the whole Congo was all Germans. They actually had built a minor naval warship out of an old container ship after the big lake in the Congo, and during the entire part of World War One and World War Two, they could never take over the infrastructure of the lake, which fed everything, because that one warship, they're rearmed with 20 millimeter cannons on it. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm not sure about World War II, because like there's if you're talking World War, it started when the Japanese invaded China in 36, but then you've got the western side where everyone declared on Germany. But World War One, I think one of the first shots fired in World War One was down here in Melbourne, because there was a German frigate sailing by the heads of Port Phillip Bay. And they fired the cannon. Now, what's funny is it's fixed, so they had to wait till the boat got caught up.
Lined up. They had to wait for the boat to come into the side.
Fire on that ship. I will, sir. Give me 5 minutes. Are you ready? Yeah, we're ready.
Got a bit of physical humor here for us, because Carolyn mentioned when I was asking about the elephant being masculine before, she alluded to, she didn't say it, she said the trunk. I was going to say fellas, right? We're going to talk about phallic stuff. I've got a burn on my arm at the moment. And if you were a teenage boy that wrote in any exercise book, you would immediately think of this burn. Everyone's been going, what does that burn on your arm look like? And I keep saying, an elephant. because let's see if I can show. Can you see it? Let me see. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
What does it look like?
Medical parlance, that's called a cockburn.
I'm sure but yeah, like pretty much, let's just call it cock and balls. That's what it looks like. Let's just call it that, right? But it's just
through your sailor phase. Yeah.
It's summer. I'm wearing like singlets and shorties and stuff. Everyone's seeing this burn on my arm. It's from cooking, everyone. It's okay. It's just, but it's how much does it look? I've amount of times said it's an elephant. I have to say it all the time.
A very strong masculine elephant.
Well, lucky for me, any child under 6 thinks it's an elephant anyway, so it's okay. Like, I don't have to explain it to the youth.
Well, that's similar to, like, I say jokes sometimes. I know there's the double meaning, and I say the joke to see where people are. Comedians stand up, they say a joke to set the tone or see the tone of the room. And I can't think of an example of a joke at the moment, but I would say a joke, and people go, "Oh, that's disgusting and pervy." No, well, I meant this, knowing that's exactly what else it means. And so I turn around and going, "Oh, interesting that you think of that." It's like the band Baby Metal, where it's basically 3 teenagers in cute not short dresses, but cute Japanese. Baby Metal is a J-pop metal band where it's got that cute singing on the front, but brutal death metal in the background. And I show it to people, it's like, "Oh, you're a pervert." Really? So the first thing you see when you look at teenagers bouncing, teenagers performing is sex.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
No, you're a pervert. It's like, no, I listen to that bass drum. I do like the music, but you think the first step is sex, and it's, you have issues, and I would see a therapist.
Yes. Real quick, as a reminder, in 7 minutes, we are going to be switching off the YouTube stream and going strictly to Rumble. So if you want to come to the Zoom room, if you're going to be watching on YouTube, you can come here to the Zoom room. The link's in the YouTube description. And the Rumble link is also in the description. So we got about 7 minutes on the countdown. Yeah. So for those of you who are on YouTube channel or not here in the Zoom room, click on the show description and come to the Zoom room, or you could go continue to watch us on Rumble, where we'll say whatever we want.
Yeah, and the main reason is because
if they're doing a search on Rumble, what are they searching for? Do they look for Galactic Historian on Rumble? Is that the term?
It's there's a link there, and anybody that's in the Zoom room, you just anyone in the Zoom room, you guys just stay here, and it'll continue over. So if you're watching on YouTube, all you do is click on show description. It'll give you the Rumble link and the Zoom room link too.
Yeah, and the main reason is because when you say "let's get ready to YouTube," it doesn't sound that good. So
yes,
let's get ready to YouTube. Yeah, no.
This doesn't work.
Which D?
Yeah.
Sancho, there are so many D words. I just there's so many D words.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a
that you
couple of them
can't
now,
literally
Sandro.
change.
Use it as a descriptive.
And I love the game of innuendo. I'm quite the master of innuendo. So you can imagine all the D words coming up for me.
Well, that sounds like another spot we will have on the comedy nights. The day of innuendo.
Wasn't that a Olivia Newton-John film, Innuendo? No, wait. That was Xanadu. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah.
I don't know if people are ready for humour about the old Olivia. I tried to joke about Olivia Newton-John the other day and people got offended. Okay, we're not touching Olivia.
As long as it's positive and you're praising. Yeah, well, but people, too soon. It's like she died. She survived breast cancer 8 times, and I think she, it's like she had a good run. And that's interesting too. Like with David Crosby passing on, I was on the Unlovers, the Unfuckers group, and Dee, who runs it, actually said it looks like it's going to be. Remember 2016 where everyone died? This looks like to be the next wave because how many Renee Gayer passed away. All these Kevin Conroy, who was Kevin Conroy, who did the voice of Batman, and of course some of the conspiracy was like, they had all the vaccine, everyone's dying. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, but it seems to, exactly as well, and it looks like this is the next wave of celebrities to pass on. However, if you think about it, it's not that much of a shock because the way entertainment has been for the last 40 years. They're aging out. Like the whole thing started. People say, David Bowie at the start of 2016. It's like, yeah, but 2.5 weeks before that was Lemmy from Motorhead. He was always a front runner. He got diagnosed, I think, the day before Christmas Eve, and passed away on Boxing Day. And the man did acid with Jimi Hendrix.
My kids love telling people. Yeah, that's right. The man, when Bowie died, my kids love telling the story about how the vestibule, like the entryway of our house, needed a repaint. I wanted to do it up and everything, and then Bowie died, and I painted the vestibule this dark grey. I just mourned Bowie painting the vestibule, and the kids all tell the story. We just had to leave. Mum had to leave her on her own and go through the mourning period. She was just like, so it was like white up to a certain point, and then it was like the whole thing, including the ceiling, was made this beautiful dark charcoal grey. Requiem for David Bowie. It took me
my favorite thing about Bowie, and it's only a cameo in the movie Yellowbeard, which was half of Monty Python. Graham Chapman plays Yellowbeard, and Eric Idle is the captain of the naval ship because he's trying to find Yellowbeard pirate. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean without the Caribbean, and so they I think it's his wife or mother, but she's hanging over being dragged in the water, and she changes her mind because she saw a shark, and it's David Bowie, and he has a shark fin on his back, and he's completely dripping with water, and it's like that's the first gag, and the second gag is like, so I'll see you later, sir, and Eric Idle's like, shh, go. That's my David. I mean, yes, he's done all that music stuff, and he's brilliant, but for me, it's like that 10-second cameo in Yellowbeard.
He had great humor. He did this. There's a Christmas Carol that he did. I think it was with Bing Crosby. Like they did a Christmas Carol together. The most unlikely pair of crooners you could ever imagine. And you can tell that there was an awful lot of had to be cut out from from them laughing together. It was just amazing. And it was just, you can tell when you see the clip. It's all very nicely done and presented well for the BBC or whatever, but you can tell there's cut because they've been they've just lost it. No, he had great humor, but he's it's a bit like Prince. I mean, you talk about these genius level musos, and we're watching it go down. Actually, when you talk about Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess school holidays, summer, blah blah blah. The girls are watching Pirates of the Caribbean at the moment. My 2 youngest, and they just watched the third one, where oh my god, I've just forgotten his name. The guitarist that never dies, that's done every drug that, Rolling Stone. Keith Richards. Yeah. Does a cameo in it.
He's Jack's dad.
He's Jack's right. Dad. And he's, I said to the kids, they said, who's that? He looks like a pirate. I said, he always has. You can thank his years of abuse for it, and for some reason
Yeah.
he just never dies.
I don't know. I think he has died, and some cruel fate keeps making him come back to life.
Well, yeah, I've seen a great meme.
The other day, and they said, "I wonder how many walk-ins he's had." Like,
Exactly.
walk-ins?
How many walk-ins he's had?
I've seen that. Like,
So
I've seen a meme where it's like, and God creates the earth, and Archangel Gabriel says, "Who's that?" Oh, that's Keith Richards. He was here when I got here.
Yeah, Sandro just said something about that in the chat.
It's on the hour. We have to say goodbye to YouTube.
Ooh, here we go.
All right, everybody. So what is going to happen is we are going to put up a hold screen while we are ending on the YouTube side. And for about 5 minutes, it will be on hold screen. And then we will continue live on Rumble. So this gives everybody a chance to figure out how to click the Rumble link, or how to click the YouTube link. For all you technically challenged people, there is a link in the show description to go to Rumble or to join the Zoom screen. So Joel, put up the whole screen, and everyone will be back in 5 minutes as you figure out how to click.